Once there lived a man. He was known by many different names. Most people called him the Woodcutter. Others called him that nice guy who lives down the road. He'll help you with anything. But those who mattered most to him called him either Dear or Daddy. Now this woodcutter worked hard to support his family. Every morning he would get up before the sun would rise so that he could be out the door as the sun was coming up. He would go deep into the woods and cut down trees all day so that by the time the sun set, he was making his way back towards home. Now one day, in the cold of winter, he was lamenting the shortness of the days. He'd have to get up later and later because the sun got up later and later. But he would do what he did every day, grabbing his axe and heading out into the woods. Well, one day, as he was walking through the woods, the sun was starting to set. He thought, I can do it. I can just get one more tree and then I'll go home. He walked a little bit deeper into the woods to a place he had never been, and he noticed that there was a cliff. When he looked over the edge, there was a frozen lake. He had never seen this lake and had no idea it was even there. Now, most of it was frozen, but the part closest to him was open water. There must have been some kind of a stream that led into this lake. He looked at a tree that was hanging just a little bit over that lake and thought, if I cut it just right, that tree will fall this way and not into the lake. And so he began to chop. He wasn't sure exactly what it was. It could have been that his hands were dry and cold from a full day of work. It could have been that the thought of his children at home, waiting with their warm arms and hugs, crossed his mind. Or it could have been the sound of the owl he heard in the distance. But whatever it was, his mind left his cutting and his hands slipped. And that axe flew over that lake and fell into that open water. "No!" he cried. That axe is my life! What have I done?" He thought about diving in after it, but that water was too cold and he had never learned how to swim. Tears started to roll down his face. What have I done? And then he noticed a head come out of that open water. It brought him back to life. Oh my goodness, I've got to get you out of there. He looked for a stick and grabbed it and held it out over the open water. No, I'm okay," said the woman. "You can't be okay, that water is freezing. Here, have the stick." "No, really, I'm fine. I'm a mermaid." "You can't be a mermaid. Mermaids live in warm oceans. They don't live in frozen lakes. Come on out of there." "Sir, I'm fine." "But you don't seem fine. What's the matter?" "Oh, I dropped my axe into the water. It's my life, it's my livelihood." "Oh, I'll see if I can help. What did your axe look like?" "Well, it had a wooden handle and a sharp, solid steel blade." "I'll see what I can do." Her head disappeared under the water. The ripples went to the edge of the ice, and it was still. And then she emerged again, holding an axe of solid gold. In the sunset, it glowed red. "Is this the axe you lost?" No, my axe had a wooden handle and a sharp, solid steel blade." "Oh, all right, I'll look again." She disappeared under the water again. The ripples went to the edge and everything was still. For a moment, and then she appeared again. This time, holding an axe that was clearly not meant for cutting. It was solid silver, intricately carved from one end to the other, and told a complete story. "Sir, is this the axe you lost?" No, my axe had a wooden handle and a sharp, solid steel blade. All right, I'll look again. Again she disappeared, the ripples disappeared, and all was still. And then she emerged again, this time holding an axe with a wooden handle and a sharp, solid steel blade. Sir, is this the axe you lost? Yes, thank you. He started to reach out for it, but she stopped him. Sir, I have never met one of your kind so honest. I have a gift for you. She reached into the water and pulled out that golden axe, and then pulled out that silver axe, and handed all three to the man. No, I couldn't take those. But she insisted. He grabbed them. Thank you, he said. And she disappeared again under the water. He was still crying, now tears of joy. And he made his way back home. He told his wife and his children about what had happened, and because of those axes, he didn't have to work so late. He could go out and cut a few trees down and then come home when his children came home from school and enjoy their company. And that woodcutter had a brother. And his brother heard about this story, and he said, there's no reason that my brother should have something that I shouldn't also have. So he went out into the woods with his axe. He, too, cut wood for a living. Their father had taught both of them. And he headed down to that same frozen lake, with a little bit of open water. He took out his axe and threw it into the water, and waited. Nothing happened. Oh, right, my axe! I lost my axe! But still, nothing happened. And suddenly, he started to realize what he had just done. That his axe was at the bottom of that lake and he could not get it back. Tears started to fall down his face, too. Help! He cried. And there, that head appeared in the water. Sir, you need some help? Yes, I dropped my axe in the water. Could you get it for me? I'll see what I can do. She disappeared into the water. The ripples hit the edge, and all was still, until she reappeared, holding an axe that looked identical to the one his brother had had. Solid gold from one end to the other. Sir, is this the axe you lost? Oh, it is! Thank you so much! And he reached down to grab that axe. But when his fingertips touched the edge of that axe, it turned to dust. The wind picked up, and that dust rose up into the air. The whole axe was soon floating in the air in tiny little bits, and then settled on the water. The mermaid was gone. No, I need my axe! Please! But he knew, in that moment, that he'd not only lost that golden axe, but his regular axe as well. And so he turned and headed back toward home.